going, guys? Nathan, Man This DIY Garage. Today we are on day 2 of the BMW E39 front control arms. Fortunately, it's so bright here I can't even see the screen of the camera. We don't want to step on that. That'll crush that. Try to put it up out of there, out of the way. We'll just be careful. We had the worst thing possible happen. We have, first of all, the thrust arm, which is right here, and the thrust arm goes down in the middle hole, and it has a steel insert. All of them have steel inserts. You can see this one's starting to come out too, right there. We'll have to make sure and tap that back in. The worst thing happened, the steel insert came out. It goes under like this. It's stuck on the ball joint to the control arm. Usually you cannot get those off. Usually they're seized on if they come out with it. This time I got lucky, and I took the pickle fork, which is right here, just ball joint separator, put it on the vise, drove it down in there, and drove it right off. The first time I've ever had one actually come off. Was fully prepared to start going through the parts and trying to find another one of these. So we're going to go ahead and knock this back down in there like that. We're going to tap that one back in, sort it all out, and put it back together. Now, what we had done here, we took the front bumper off. We got to take it off anyway to do the M5 bumper. And that made it a little easier to get that duct moved over so we could pull the bolts out of the front there. Let me show you. This is where the thrust arm goes. You can see the bushing goes right up here, right between these two. And this is what I was talking about. There's just barely enough room to slide that over. And we actually took a open and put on the head and just tapped it gently with a hammer. Got it out just where we could slip the thrust arm out. And now when we put it back in, we're going to line it up. We're going to take a little mirror and we're going to look in the back and make sure it's lined up. We're going to slide it all back in. I'm not going to show you how to move the front bumper in this video. That'll be in the next video. This video is all about part 2 to the control arms, and it's going to be another alignment video. Okay, so here we are. We're going to have to press this thing in a little bit. That thing's already, I barely tapped with the hammer a few times. It started crooked, so we're just going to go ahead and press it in. We're going to take a little PB blaster, first of all, do that, and we're going to try to see if this press is going to put it in straight. It's probably going to make the microphone cut out, so just bear with me. Impact's starting to go a little bit dead, but it's working. All right, there we go. This is my ball joint press. It's a little bit stuck in there, stuck between the shroud. We'll have to take something and pop that cap off. But everything did press down perfect. So as far as hitting it with a hammer, I've done it before when you didn't have this press. You're probably gonna need a press. What's gonna probably end up happening, if you don't do it right, you're gonna end up bending this little insert up where you can't reuse it. They don't sell just the insert, you gotta buy the whole knuckle. So I noticed before, whenever I just listed one of these E39 knuckles on eBay, it sold right away, and it sold for a bunch of money. So don't get yourself in that situation. Go ahead, and if you don't have a ball joint press like this one, you could actually go rent these from O'Reilly's or AutoZone or anywhere. And this is just a small kit with a bunch of cups. You saw me use before. So that's it, guys. That's all for that. We're gonna go ahead and reassemble all this stuff. I think we probably need to charge your impact because it's getting dead. We're gonna make sure on reassembly that everything's nice and tight. I can't even see the light. It is amber, so it is almost dead. So we'll charge that, we'll be back. We're gonna finish this front end up. Okay, so we got everything stringed out here. And in this case, we're using fishing line. This is some old stuff we had laying around. It's 80-pound test, just so it's a little bit thicker. And you can see we've adjusted it so it's barely touching the tire. Evenly front and back. And when you string it, you wanna run it behind any of this stuff. Make sure it's not hitting on anything at all. And same way you go around the back. The back is all touching evenly. Same way on this side, and you see we have it tied. This little straight knot right here. And everything should be even. This car, I believe, calls for plus or minus, was it 1 degree, but We found the E39 runs the best with everything totally straight. This side's the same way, everything's perfect. And of course, I'll show you how to adjust it real quick. All right, so you can see all of our new control arms and our tie rod goes up to right here. Right here's a locking nut. And you have to loosen, well, they're new, so they came loose. And then basically you just take a wrench, and what we've done here, we jacked the car up. You can see we have jack. We haven't jacked it up in the air, but we just took some weight off the tires, so it's not so hard to adjust. Jacking the car up like that doesn't really matter on the toe. These cars really don't have a camber adjustment. The only camber adjustment is with the top plates on the struts, and you can buy aftermarket camber adjustments for that. There's no adjustment here. Ordinarily, stuff would have a cam bolt for the adjustment on the bottom. This doesn't have that either, so none of that's needed. These things are hardly ever out of camber. If it is out of camber, something is bent. So when you do the front end kit, it's all new stuff anyway. There's pretty much no chance of that happening. So we adjusted both of these. We locked them down. Now what you want to do after you do all that, you want to go ahead and pull your boot back. You want to recheck your inner nut where it goes on to the rack and pinion, and make sure you haven't turned that loose. Sometimes, especially if you haven't done the inner, people won't tighten those up tight enough. When you go to adjust this guy right here, it'll actually turn out the inner nut. And the danger of that is when you're out driving, the whole inner tie rod could disconnect. You're going to crash and probably die. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Now tomorrow we are going to do the bumper. We'll go and fit the bumper up. We'll go take it for a drive. Well, then we'll put the center caps back on once we know everything is good. Also, one more thing I was going to show you. If the wheel is not straight, it's not going to work. Your wheel's going to be all crooked when you take off driving. It's best to have somebody else sit in there and actually hold the wheel straight while you're turning the adjustments, because what it's going to do, especially with the whole weight of the cars on the ground, it's going to turn the steering wheel when you turn the adjustments and not the actual tie rod, and actually going to move the wheel. That's not what you want. It's never going to work out. Most alignment shops here lately have been messing that up. I don't know if they try to get the lock in there. I'm not really sure what the hell's going on. That's a rookie mistake not to hold the wheel straight. You don't want to be driving down the highway and your wheels cocked to the side or even upside down in extreme cases. Pretty much it, guys, for today's video. Tomorrow, like I said, is going to be the M5 bumper conversion, and then I guess the day after that is going to be the pulleys, thermostat, and valve cover gasket. That's it. Thanks for watching.